Pro Haver, you know, for the volunteer groups, he does all kinds of promotional stuff for free. You know, just to promote this stuff, and we're, you know, very fortunate to have him. When I graduated from the University of Montana in the forestry department and outdoor recreation and management, I graduated and I was pancaked. So I came back to Havre, and one thing that always intrigued me about Havre was the Beaver Creek Park, the 10,000 acre county park, where a guy could get a cabin site for $50 a year, put up a cabin, and have his own place. So the first thing I did when I came back to Havre was get a cabin site on Beaver Creek Park. When you can still get them, you can't get them anymore, they're all filled up. But, so I got a cabin out there and started looking for a job, and the tribe and Iroquois Development, a local development company, what is it, EDA or?
I think that's right. Yep.
Anyway, they were looking for a manager at the ski area. Well, when I started skiing out in Iroquois when I was a senior in high school. My family didn't ski, so I didn't start until later. But I fell in love with the sport. Really loved to ski, and so I took the job. A sweet deal. I had a cabin 5 miles below the ski hill, and I got my own ski area. So at that time, the ski area had a palm lift, a beginner rope tow, and an upper rope tow that took you to the top of the mountain. And so we ran that for a few years, and then the tribe, as part of their economic development out there, upgraded the ski hill to a charity. And they put their own manager in there, and Bert Corcoran did a wonderful job for 3 years. There was no ski patrol. So a local bunch of guys and myself went through the courses and became ski patrol members, and which is a huge volunteer thing. It's you know, hundreds of hours of training. So we all got certified, and they ran the ski hill for about 3 years, and then it hit a dry winter, and it's so isolated out there that vandals, you know, there was a really nice lodge up there, and vandals just tore everything apart. They shot up the ski hill, and so it was kind of toast for a year, and finally we got together as a group and said, well, let's talk to the tribe and see if we can get things rolling out there. So we did, and we worked out an agreement with Chippewa Cree tribe, and one thing about it, the Chippewa Cree tribe, if it wasn't for them, we would not have a ski area. It is a gift to the community, that ski area out there. So we started this group called the Snowdance Ski Association, and our agreement with the tribe was that the only paid employees would be the Chippewa Creek tribal members that were lift operators, lift ops. So we were cool with that. You know, we all had other jobs, and so I got a group of people together, volunteers. There were engineers, mechanics, you know, farmers that could fix anything, welders, and just regular volunteers that wanted to have their kids skiing and wanted a place. And it's so cool because we're one of 14 ski areas in the state of Montana, and we're on the prairie. You know, we're way up north, isolated on the stinking prairie. But it's a beautiful place. You know, it's very special. So so we started running this ski area, and it's been, you know, 50 years for me. I've been out there, and it's, you know, it's kind of all a blur. But these volunteers that we have, they do the concession stands. They do all the lift maintenance, which is huge, and clear the runs. Now we have we had a year where we had 2016 through 2018, we had dry winters, no snow at all. But we still have to do the same things. And we have to pay the insurance, do all the maintenance. You know, every year So, we, local ski shop, Master Sports, decided to quit doing rentals. So they sold their rental property. So we went, quite a few years without rentals. Then Bridger Bowl, we talked to the manager of Bridger Bowl, saw that we didn't have rentals, so he gave us. They were replacing all the rentals. He gave us all the rentals. And this guy was the general manager at Bridger Bowl, and he drove them up here, 2 truckloads, 2 huge truckloads of rentals. So we got a ski shop. So we had volunteers again to run the ski shop, ski techs, counter people, and somehow it's worked. So now we have a ski shop with all this merchandise and rentals that are affordable for people to ski. So if you need a pair of skis, we make it affordable for them. It's very inexpensive. So we're fortunate in the fact that now we can service the ski community and really start a good business. We also bought a beginner rope tow from Bridger Bowl and installed that so we have a place for beginners, because there wasn't one. Everything got busted up or old, and just was no good anymore. So with volunteer help and machinery and everything, we put in this beginner rope tow. So one of our main goals of this, of getting all this stuff done, is to get the kids at Rocky Boy on skis. You have to understand it's about, I suppose 7 or 8% of our skiers are from Rocky Boy. But it's a culture of poverty where these kids don't have the opportunity to ski. Well, we're 15 miles from Rocky Boy. So we want to get and our goal is to get all the kids at Rocky Boy on skis. And so now we have a volunteer person right now that's going through the PSA training to be a professional ski instructor. And we're going to set up the kids at Rocky Boy and Box Elder to ski. We've already had one group out there, and it was wonderful. The kids had a blast. And that's one thing about that area is we accept, it's family. It's a kids area. Everybody knows everybody, and if they don't know you, they will. We're starting to see now in the ski industry, people from all over coming to ski these little areas. And we get people from Boston, we've got people from Boston, we've got Calgary, all over the state of Montana. And I make it a point as a manager, I'm not your typical manager. I meet them all. Agreed. I meet them all, so I go up and I mess with them. And I tell them a little bit about the history of everything out there. And it's, what I tell them is, when Custer got it at the Little Bighorn, the military government of the United States built a fort outside of Havre called Fort Assiniboine. You probably drove by it on the way here. It's the best kept of all the old forts, and it was the largest military installation this side of the Mississippi. So this is getting close to the turn of the century, and they disbanded the fort, and they formed one of the last reservations formed in the United States, the Chippewa Cree. They formed that reservation with this land, and they gave the county the park out there, the 10,000-acre county park, and then they homesteaded the rest. So it's all, all comes down to, when they disbanded the fort, when the last of the Indian Wars was over, Chief Joseph had got it south of Chinook. And so they disbanded this fort, and that's another group of volunteers too, Fort Assiniboine, keeping it going, but that's another story. And the commander-in-chief out there was Black Jack Pershing who commanded all the military forces during World War I, and he was stationed at Fort Assiniboine out there with the Buffalo Soldiers from the Civil War. So it's very interesting history. So anyway, that's what I tell these people come from all over, and the Baldy Mountain out there, like I say, the tallest mountain you'll see, but it's very religious or sacred to the Chippewa Cree tribe. So it's cool. It's cool to be out there, and all us volunteers that work out there, we spend thousands of hours doing lift maintenance and clearing runs, and it's exhausting, but it's all worth it because we get to go out there. The Chippewa Cree tribe lets us go out there and do this, and we take the families out there, and the kids get to run around, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing that we have. And volunteerism in Havre, if it wasn't for the volunteers, and what we're seeing now is all these kids are starting to move back. They're all professionals, but things are affordable, and it's kind of a cool place. You can be water skiing in 15 minutes and snow skiing in 20 minutes. Out of Havre. So a lot of our kids are starting to come back, and most of them are professionals now, and it's changed Havre. It's a cool place, and we love it, and that's why we do it, I guess. Any questions?
Hey, Dave, can you how many people do you think volunteer in a year out there?
Well, in the last 50 years, I don't recruit volunteers. If they want to come out and help, they can. It just seems like people want it. It's a cool place, and everybody's part of it. When they come out there, I make them feel a part of it. I go out of my way to, put them on Facebook or just recognize them. But they don't do it. They do it because they like being out there. We don't have running water. We've got it down to the bare minimum because it's so expensive to run in the ski area. Just the power of the insurance alone takes you right up. And we're able to. We don't have running water. We have outdoor toilets with vaults. But it works, and we're 30 minutes from Havre. We don't have a bar. We have a concession stand manned by volunteers. At the end of the day, we have what we call Bible study in the lodge, and everybody that wants to can come up and we sing. And BYOB, bring your own Bible, and we just we make it a community type thing, and it seems to be working for us, and I hope to continue it.
How much is a lift pass?
Lift tickets are for adults $25, and for kids it's $20. And that's what we're seeing, that a lot of the ski areas a lot of Montana, the ski areas are turning into resorts. Where it's $200 lift tickets, $175, $90, $100, and it's the average family can't afford it. So we try to make it, we try to keep expenses down. If the kids don't have rentals and they can't afford rentals, we'll put them in rentals. That's the way we are.
What did you do to stop the vandalism or change that?
Well, actually, the tribe is, the tribe has stepped up and they control it now. It's more, they realize that they've got to control it, and they do. And it wasn't for the Chippewa tribe. They're unbelievable people. What they do for us. They plow the roads. They do the law enforcement. We still get vandalism, but it's not like it was. They're not shooting up things. And a friend of mine, when the lodge was there, it got vandalized and all the furniture got stolen. And his daughter went to a house party in Havre, and whether she was in college or whatever, and went in there, and there was furniture from the lodge in there. People, it's everything. Kids get stupid, and break stuff up.
So, You know, in the fall, you have quite a few people that are out there clearing brush and getting the lift going. What's the weirdest thing you've had happen? You know, like I heard today, Dave, your son told me that cows had been in the lodge building. He called it collateral splatter.
Somebody left the door open, and we leave everything open except for the power plant. And the cows, there's a grazing lease out there. So the cows got in the lodge. We crapped all over the place. Another thing that we'll go in and power worship, clean it all up. It's just one of those things that happens.
Dave, Bear Paw Ski Bowl is the last place my husband and I need to ski, and we will have skied all the areas, small and large, in Montana. So we're planning this winter. We tried for last winter, but it got too icy. So what's your advice for the best ski day at Bear Paw, and then any tips on any backcountry touring in this area?
Well, the Eel Creek area out there is good back. I don't know, we just had a fire out there. So I don't know what's left up there, but that area is good for backcountry skiing. But the backside of with downhill stuff, or the backside of the ski hill.
Oh, you can take the lift up and then just tour off the back.
Yep, and come out the Eel Creek Range. The best time to go out there,
When there's
March,
snow.
when the bikini ski free, I don't know. It's up to you. That's our springtime policy.
Jim takes advantage of it every year.
They won't let me do it.
March what is ski free?
Women in bikini ski free.
Oh, no. My husband might do it.
So we kind of have fun with it. It's just a fun thing. And I do this on the radio. All this stuff. They let me say anything on the radio. So that's another thing. I give volunteers a hard time. I'm able to say anything I want. It's like harvest for me. And so my next ski report after the March 1st report is, the next week report is, due to the overall popularity of our springtime policy of women in bikini ski free, we'll have to limit it to the first 20. It's just a fun thing that we do. It doesn't need to be sexist, or we just try to do fun things. That's
Well,
in a nutshell.
I know it.
We love our volunteers.
How? So you were saying this to me, but there's one other volunteer on Ski Hill in Montana, right?
Yeah, Turner Mountain at Libby. You can't, it's just so hard to keep the little ski areas open. That's why there isn't any.
Have you guys ever considered, so Turner Mountain will let you also rent out the whole mountain for a private day?
Yeah.
Is that an option
Our-
up here?
Our problem with that is getting a ski patrol,
Yeah.
because we could do it, if we had the demand. We could very, very easily do that. And it's just, they have to let us know.
Yeah.
But we just don't advertise it. We're kind of, with all these volunteers, they're all skiers. We get pretty burnt out, kind of, constantly being out there working. The lift is very antiquated. It's, 40 some years old now, and it's hard to get parts. And when we're able to milk off other ski areas, Teton Pass at Shoto, my good friend Chuck owns that, and he buys old lifts and stuff, so he's hooked us up with a lot of equipment of the same type of lift. So that's helped quite a bit. That's about all I got.
Well, thanks for coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One other thing, my son Jesse is an airline pilot, and he's goofing around as a captain on the Airbus for Allegiant Airlines. He was goofing around, not really settling down. Well, we had one of these volunteers at the ski hill, Brittany, and I said, and she was really good. And I said, I want to introduce you to my son. So I introduced him, and they started dating. He lived in Florida, and they started dating, and she was a pharmacist in Adam. And they got married. They
At the Ski Hill.
turned up, and then they got married at the ski hill in February. And it was huge. I mean, it was, people came from all over, and the weather was nice. It was like in February, t-shirt weather. And all these pilots from all over the United States, Jesse's friends, came to ski, so we opened the ski hill for them and skied and we had a round dance. A guy came down from Rocky Point, did a round dance. It was very, very, very fun. Very cool.
See?
Now I'm the president of the club.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Mhm.
All right, this just